Let's go to Psalms 126. When you have it, shout, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
When the Lord brought back the captivity of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue with singing. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are glad. Bring back our captivity, O Lord, as the streams in the south. Those who sow in tears, you know I like context. Those who sow in tears might. Possibly. Maybe. Could be. Perhaps. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. Give me verse 6. He who continually goes forth weeping. God help my soul. He who continually goes forth weeping. He who continually goes forth weeping, bearing seed for sowing, shall doubtless, God help me, shall doubtless, God help my soul, shall doubtless come again rejoicing, bringing sheaves with him. I would that you knew what season you are in. Take your seats. I got to go. Here we go. This text is a song of accents, a melody of elevations, a composition of new levels. Say, this is a new level. Also, it's a ballad of layers. There's liberty, there's captivity, there's entreaty, in other words, prayer, petition. There's entreaty, and there's expectancy. Per the text, restoration has been experienced by some. The feeling is unnatural. They said it was like, it's surreal, it's unreal. It's unreal. I can't even believe what I'm feeling. And not only is it hard for me to believe what I'm feeling, but it's also praiseworthy. Verse 4, the text reveals further restoration is desired. So there's been an experience for some. Boy, if this ain't the church. I said there's been an experience for some who have experienced restoration. But the text is telling us, it's actually revealing to us, verse 4, that there's a prayer, there's a petition, there's an inquiry for further restoration. Walk with me. The restored or positioned to reap. I said the restored or positioned to reap. Why would you say that? Because there are two different positions. There's the position of the restored, and then there's the position of the reapers. And so let me say it one more time. The restored are positioned to reap. Verse 4 is a petition for further restoration. The word says, bring back our captivity. In other words, restore our prosperity. Oh Lord, as the streams in the south. This is why you got to take your time when you're looking at the text. It says in the south. In other words, the Negev. You just thought it was just the south. No. It's an actual region. And that region is called the Negev. It's the Negev. And the Negev are restored by torrents of rain. I say the Negev are restored by torrents of rain. Now, Negev means parched. Say, there's a parched place. Negev means parched from its drought. It's a large desert region in southern Israel. In summer, those streams dry up. When I say on time, this one right here, look at your neighbor and say, this one right here is on time. Look at somebody and say, this one right here is on time. Okay. Listen. In the summer, those streams dry up. They are filled again. Somebody say, in the rainy season. They are filled again in the rainy season by the autumn rains. By the autumn rains, also known as the former rain. Say, I'm in the season of the former rain. Literally. The former rain. Get this. Restore means to bring back, as in equalize. Here's where we see the difference between the two. Watch. Restore means to bring back, to equalize. When you restore something, you want to put it back in the condition it was before there was ruin, before there was destruction, before there was loss. You just want to put it back to the way it was. Say that's a restoration. Now, there are some in the house that just need to be back to, God help me, bring me back to where I was. I fell off. I backslid. I've not studied like I should have. I've not prayed like I should have. I've not been walking into my calling like I should have. Could you just bring me? Just bring me back to where I was. Now, watch this. So remember, restore means bring back. Reap means to bring in. It means to bring in. It means to, watch this, produce increase. Because, you know, fruit is produce. It means to bring in. It means to produce. Because when you have a harvest, you have an increase. Okay. The picture in poetry in the scripture is the return of God's people to their rightful place. Say, Father, bring us back to our rightful place. You got to understand, this is a psalm of those coming out of Babylon. This is why I love the text, and this is why I can't put this kind of stuff together, because last week we were talking about cutting it off before we proceeded into promise, because when they crossed over the second time, they were not in promise, they were in the proximity of promise as they begin to go towards Jericho. Am I in the text? Am I talking right here? But this text is not talking about those waiting to enter into promise. These texts is talking about those who have already been there. They didn't go back to Egypt. They went into Babylon. They went into Babylon out of disobedience, and it was 70 some odd years. Am I right about it? Where they had to be in, and now they're coming back. This psalm is a psalm about those who have returned and those who are praying for the rest to return. Some of us have already been in promise. But we found ourselves in bondage. And God has restored us. And some of us are in the place of restoration, and we're like, God, I know there's more of us that are still in bondage. Does anybody, can I get with anybody that, I know we talk about bringing in the lost, but sometimes we need to talk about those who have just stepped out of faith. I know we need to go and win the lost, but God, can you bring us back? Can I be so bold as, God, can you bring the church back? Yes, I want some lost souls, but God, can you just can the church be the church again? We lacking. Watch this. I just want the numbers to be what they. I'm talking to every pastor. I say, I just want the numbers back up. It's every pastor right now is still, oh God, most pastors, I venture to say, every pastor is still suffering from the pandemic from 2 years. It's folks still ain't. And I ain't talking about left the building of the church. I'm talking about they left the organization. Nope. They left the organism called the church. They left the body. They are having an out-of-body experience. When you know when you're out of shape, you start looking in the mirror and you just want your body back. I'm talking to the church. Something look wrong with us. Something's out of place. We don't fit like we used to fit. God, could you? I need my body back. A BBL ain't gonna do it. So we got to get back in shape. How you going to say yes to the dress, but you don't want to get back in shape? Are you hearing what I'm saying? But it's the return of God's people to their rightful place. Watch this, their promised place. Their dwelling place. Say, I belong in my rightful place. This is not arrogance. This is covenant. Nope, you missed it. You missed a good chance to bless them right there. You need to start walking like you in covenant. It's not arrogance. It's covenant. Can I give you a purposeful tangent? The reason why David wasn't afraid of Goliath is because he had no covenant. He said, you uncircumcised Philistine. Why am I going to be afraid of you and you ain't even got no... It's not arrogance, baby. It's covenant. How do I slay giants? It ain't arrogance. This is covenant. How do I rebuke the devil in Jesus' name? This ain't arrogance. This is covenant. How do I resist the devil so that he flees from me? This ain't arrogance. This is... Say, this covenant talking. Man, you better learn the lingo. Literally, it's talking geographically. Because they are literally out of place in Babylon. They belong in Jerusalem. But principally, it's talking spiritual by prophecy and by promise. Because remember, God has promised this rightful place to his people. Say, there is a rightful place promised to me. Nope, own it. Say, there is a rightful place promised to me. This ain't arrogance. This is not merit talking. This covenant. This covenant talking. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Quick side note, what if I told you in order to reap, we have to first make the cut? Let's go further. Hydration and cultivation work transformation. I said hydration and cultivation work transformation. What do you mean? You can break up all the fallow ground that you want. You can not sow in the thorn amongst the thorns all you want if you don't hydrate that ground. Hydration and cultivation work transformation. I want you to receive this because we're about to go a different direction. Receive this. When the tears come, till the ground. I say, when the tears come, say they're going to come. See, what's been happening is we haven't been optimizing what's happening to us. We think we always got to be in the right place to do the right thing. Sometimes we can be in a horrible season, but still reap thereafter if we learn how to optimize what's going on with us. I'm crying, but I must carry on. God help my soul. See, because you got to understand that even if you are in the position of the restored, you're crying for those in bondage. God help my soul. I'm in the text right now. Even if you are in the position of the restored, you are still crying. Notice how verse 4, he switches it around. He says, bring back our captivity. In other words, some of us who realize this restoration, we feel like we're in a dream, but I know I shouldn't be here by myself. I'm not so selfish about my restoration that I don't want it for somebody. This is kingdom thinking. I'm not so selfish about, I'm in my place in God, and God is doing great things for me. What about your brothers that fell off? But what about those that are still captured in Babylon? What are those that have experienced promise, but now are experiencing bondage on a different level? See, we always come out of Egypt. We don't realize sometimes we got to come back from Babylon. There's some folks that don't experience his promises. There's some folks that have experienced his goodness, but they still in, and it ain't Egypt. Egypt, from a spiritual standpoint, represents sin outside of salvation. Because when they cross over, they are saved. I'm not talking about salvation. I'm talking about restoration. Oh, it's different. It's one thing when you haven't experienced freedom. It's a whole other thing when you have and you're wondering why you locked up. My question is anybody praying? Anybody that's been restored praying for more folks to be restored? God, I need to stand in front of that mirror one more time. I just feel it. I want my body back. The Lord is like, I want my body back. It should be more fit than this. I used to be fit, but things fell off. Let me come back over here. I don't want to get too far out there. Hydration and cultivation work transformation. When the tears come, till the ground. Get your bearing and be a groundbreaker. Get your bearing. I didn't say you weren't going to go through. I done been through more disappointment, more hurt, more brokenness in the last 2 years than I care to remember. But I'm so glad that God is faithful to give us a word. And see, some of us, help my soul. Help my soul. What's been happening is a lot of us have been sobbing with seed. God told me to use you, so I'm going to use you. Erica, come here. Elder Stokes, I need a bag. Just give me a couple of the things, the candy. Yeah, just give me that. The Lord told me that I got this morning. I didn't know how it was going to come or what it's going to do. Just give me some. Just give me some. Just give me some. All right. Thank you. I appreciate Appreciate you. Okay. This is what's going on. Come up here, because I want everybody to see. I want everybody to see. Watch. This is what's been happening. Some of us have been sobbing. I want you to hold it as tight as you can. I want you to put all the anguish, all the hurt, all the disappointment, all the things that haven't been going right in your life, and I want you to use all that aggravation and all that hurt and all that pain, and I want you to put it into the tightest grip that you could possibly get. I want you to transfer it all into your hand. You ever been hurt and you trying to get through the hurt, and what do? What do you do to try and bear the pain? You clench your fist. Here's what we've been missing. I'm glad God is in the solution business. This is what's happening because what we want God to undo what's happened. We want God to, am I talking to anybody in here? We want God to undo what has happened to us, but He's not going to undo it. He wants us to go through it. And here we are, sobbing, crying, sad, burdensome. I want you to back up a little bit. Come on back here with me. And what's been happening, and God, let me do this thing the right way. I need to get on her right hand. But what's been happening is that you've been sobbing, but you don't realize that you have seed. You've been concentrating so much on what's happened to you that you're not mindful of. Let me make sure that I'm getting all the way into your house on this one. Watch this. How many of us don't realize, have come to be aware of, that we focus on what we don't have more than what we do have? And see, what happens is when you have a loss, you focus on the... We call the woman who helped the prophet, we call her a widow. But she was a mother. And she was serving like a mother. The only reason the prophet found her because she was outside the city gate picking up sticks. She wasn't looking for a prophet. She was looking for sticks. She was ready to serve the Last Supper for her household. But you've not focused. You've not focused on what you have because you've been concerned about what you're not focusing on what you have because you're focusing. So watch this. You've been going forward. I need you to walk forward. You've been going forward. Thinking about what you had. I need you to back up. You've been going forward, not realizing what you had. I need you to see tears on her face right now. And so imagine, if you would, there are tears streaming down her face. So watch this. You've been crying and you've been trying to carry on. God help my soul. Anybody been crying, but you're trying to... I said, anybody been crying, but you're trying to carry on? You're trying to put your best foot forward. But here's where we've erred. We've been crying and we've been carrying on just like this. Walk with me. And some of us are still not understanding wherein we've erred. I need you to back up one more time. This time, while you're carrying on, somebody say, this time. I need you to look at the person next to you. I'm talking to everybody in this room. I need you to look somebody next to you. Say, this time. It's still going to happen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's still going to be some things that's going to make you cry. It's still going to be some things that are heartbreaking to you, and you're going to have to carry on. This time. Somebody say, this time. This time when you walk forward, I want you to release the seed. Now walk. Release. 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 Yeah, release it. Walk. Release. Walk. Release. Walk. Release. Now, I need you to understand something. When she went forward, she was tilling the... When she went forward, she was... When she went forward, she was being a groundbreaker. Say, when I go forward, I become a groundbreaker. Somebody say, it's groundbreaking season. Now watch this. Lead the seed where they are. Lead the seed where they are. Come right back here with me. She's still crying. Because it's still affecting her. You're going to act like you stopped crying. Come on. You're going to, watch this. Some of y'all over here like, why he keep going back and forth? Why he keep going back and forth? Ain't that what you do? Ain't that what we do? We keep going back. Say, but this time, I'm going to carry on. Say, I'm a sob, but I'm going to sow. I'm trying to act like I'm a grown person up here. Say, this time, I'm going to sob, but I'm going to sow. And when I'm releasing my seed, when I'm releasing my seed, and I actually let the tears fall. Oh, and I done already broke up the ground because I done been back and forth over this thing so many times. But this time this time I'm not going back. This time as I'm going forward, oh God, I'm going to give this ground some hydration. I've broken up the fallow ground. I didn't sow amongst the thorns. But what I forgot to do, what I erred in, is I didn't release my seed. I got to release the seed. Instead of clenching on to things that I lost, I need to release things that I have. God help my soul. We're trying to hold on to things that we don't even have. And God is saying, you need to release the seed. And so, I'm going to sob, but I'm going to sow. And while I'm sowing, I'm going to sob. Oh, but that's the hydration. Say, when I cry, that's hydration. Say, when I walk by faith, that's cultivation. Go sit down. That's cultivation. That's cultivation. And I need three things to work a harvest. I need hydration, I need cultivation, and I need patience. Say, I need hydration, I need cultivation, and I need patience. Say, you're looking at a groundbreaker. Catch this. Tears can be transmissive, transportive, and transformative. You didn't even know your tears had all this. Wait till I give you this natural so that I can give you this spiritual. Look at somebody say, just wait on it. Look at somebody else say, he ain't done yet. Tears can be transmissive, transportive, and transformative. Let's keep going. Tears are the product of a release. I know it's simple, but let me give you the elementary. I'll bring you up to collegiate. Let me just give you the elementary stuff. I say tears are a product of release. Don't you tell nobody else to stop crying. No, cry. 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 Say, let it out. Tears are the product of a release. Also, they are cleansers by nature. Sometimes you are crying when nothing is going wrong because your body, watch this, your body is trying to correct your vision. You've got something in your eyes, and your eyes know it, though you can't see it. Never mind. I say, because you don't think nothing's going wrong. Well, why am I crying? Because your body's trying to make a Your body's trying to make a correction in your vision. Your eyes are irritated, and they start saying, I got to clean this mess out. And here we are wiping the very thing that we need to go ahead and let. Because what happens is, whatever was in your eye now fleshes itself. But you want to stop crying. They are cleansers by nature. Stay with me. In the natural, there are 3 types of tears. I was like, do we even know the depth of our own tears? Nope, you don't. I didn't either. So let me help us. Look at somebody and say, let him help us. There are 3 types of tears: basal, reflex, and emotional. Basal, reflex, and emotional. Now, tears, if you start listening in the natural and the spiritual, you're going to get this, but I'm going to give you the spiritual, I'll make sure of it. Tears have layers. God help me because I almost lost it. I say tears have layers. Say, my tears have layers. Tears have layers. They have an inner layer. They have a middle layer. And they have an outer layer. How you got a trinity in your tears? Okay. I say, how do you have a never mind. Let me come back over here because y'all think I'm just talking. I said you have an inner layer, a middle layer, and an outer layer. The inner layer is mucus that helps the tear stay fastened to the eye, to the surface of the eye. This is at first, right? To stay fastened to the eye. The middle layer is water. God help me. The middle layer is water, and it nourishes and hydrates the eye. That's why some people who have dry eyes, they go and buy tears. Y'all remember the commercial? Y'all remember the commercial? You have dry eyes. And he said it with a real dry voice so he can get you to buy into it. But there you are, searching for artificial tears because something's wrong with your body. Can I propose to us? We buying artificial tears, crocodile tears, because something's wrong with the body. Anywho. Well, water, say the word. I thought y'all was listening. Say water. Say, I need the word in my eyes. You know what else the water is? Somebody say Holy Ghost. I need Ruach in my eye. Okay. The outer layer. Now this one almost made me lose my mind. The outer layer is oily. I almost lost it. Y'all can Google it. I promise you. Google it. It's right there. I say it's oily. He talking natural, man. Are you listening though? I said it's oily. Watch this. Watch this. It's oily, and the oil and the tears have a purpose. Why would God, who designed this body, who made this body to function in the way that it functions, with all these thousands of functions happening simultaneously? Because my brain is telling my hands to move faster than they are. Say, God, design my tears. Say, God, design my tears. That means God designed you to release your. It's oily, but the oil has purpose. The oil prevents the other layers from evaporating. Watch this. The only way your tears are going to hit the ground is if you have oil in your life. See, if oil ain't in you, how can you release it? And I already told you where you was planted. See, y'all don't be following. I be trying to. Anyway, but I told you were planted. We are the planted of God. Y'all remember that lesson a few weeks back? We are the planting of God. Right? Which means he has planted us when he planted the person that was outside of the church, right? And he planted the person that was the priest, Joshua and Zerubbabel, right? When he planted them two, and those were the two trees that was providing oil for the temple, and no man's hands was on them. I told you this a few weeks ago, but you thought I was just talking some mess. I'm trying to tell you, if you keep up, you will get some stuff. And so now that you realize we are the planting of God, which means we have oil in our life, we're not just any fruit tree. We olive trees. But some of us don't know how to extend the olive branch. Let me come back over here. Where you can't extend the branch that you don't have. Somebody say, make it good. You better make it good. So the tears have oil in them so that the first two layers don't evaporate. Watch this. The only reason you haven't dried up is because there's oil. Things around you may dry up, but the only reason you ain't dried up, the only reason you are not a vapor, because there's oil in the tears that keeps it from evaporating. I got to move. Tears communicate internal involvement, investment, and or injury. That's another trinity. But tears communicate internal involvement, investment, or injury. Watch this. Sometimes when you're trying to suppress a yell, you will still cry. Anybody have not said a word to somebody, you sitting by yourself, ain't nobody saying nothing to you, but you just crying? That's because what's inside of you is trying to get out. And it needs to get out. Somebody say, go ahead and cry. It's all right. Go ahead and cry. But the tears communicate internal involvement, investment, and or injury. This is the transmissive element. You ain't think I just threw out all them T's and wasn't going to fill them out, did you? This is the transmissive element. I don't be saying stuff just to say it. There's the reason behind it. This is the transmissive element. Let's go further. Tears fall, spill, or pour. Jordan, are you over here with me? I said tears fall, spill, or pour. This happens, let me give you the natural. This happens when they overwhelm what's called the lacrimal drainage system, the tear gland. I don't think you heard what I just said. Let me say it again. Tears fall, spill, or pour when they overwhelm. When they overwhelm the drainage system, the tear gland. Listen close. Tears reveal being overwhelmed in some capacity or another. Either you're overwhelmed by pain, or you're overwhelmed by sorrow, or you're overwhelmed by joy. But it shows that you're overwhelmed by something in one way or another. Now, in the text, he is overwhelmed because even though he's been joyful, he's still in mourning. Anybody been joyful but still in mourning? I'm joyful because God got me out. I'm joyful because God has brought me from a mighty long way. He brought me out of darkness into his marvelous light. But there are some who have been in his marvelous light but have been dragged back into the darkness. They still in Babylon. And I just want the body back. That's what the person in the psalm is singing about. I want the body back. Why do you think he says, bring again the captivity? Because they've been here. You wonder why we was going back and forth? Because we done been here, but we done been. We done been through this before, but see, last time we didn't release anything. We started telling folks, stop crying, suck it up, and drive on. That's what we told them, right? Especially the young men. Don't you cry. What, you think my tears don't have oil? Anyway. You must think my tears don't have. You think you're the only one with oily tears? Okay. Watch this. The tears in the text are promissory. He's shedding promissory tears. Somebody say, I have the tears of promise. I would that the believers would go, you ought to go crazy. You didn't even know what your tears were. Say, my tears are made of promise. How can you be a promised one and not have tears of? Say, my tears are peculiar. Can I go far? Can I go way out there? Somebody say, my tears are holy. Be ye holy, for watch this. You got to have some righteous tears to pray for somebody when you're in a good condition. When you're in the position of restoration, you got to be somewhere else. I'm being restored. I've been restored, but I'm weeping. I'm weeping for those that are still in bondage. I'm not only weeping for them, thank you, Holy Ghost. I'm not only weeping for them because they're in bondage. I'm weeping for them because I know that way back. The people in restoration, I want you to think literal right now, they had to walk back to Jerusalem. They don't know what they're walking back to. They know what place they're going back to, but they don't know the condition of the place. When I get back, will it be ruined? I've been gone for a while. When I get back, will it be ruined? It's going to take me all this effort just to get back. But what happens when I have to get back and I have to rebuild? Oh, I've been restored, but what happens if I have to rebuild? What happens when I'm restored and I got to rebuild my family? God help my soul. What happens when I've been restored and I got to rebuild my city? What happens when I've been restored but I got to rebuild my faith? We act like we ain't been restored and had to rebuild our faith from the ground up at times. Come on, somebody. Your foundation wasn't shaken, but some of the walls came down. Maybe I'm talking to me. I know you've been building up the whole time you've been saved. Ain't nothing ever fell off. Ain't nothing ever fell apart. I'm not talking to you. You can't get anything from this. But I'm talking about some people that's done, some things have fallen off. Or some people that have fallen off. Watch this. And these people that fell off, they're not the ones that you're supposed to cut off. There's a difference. He's not crying for the people that should have been cut off. He's crying for the people that need to come back. Watch this. I ain't shedding no tears for folks that should have been cut off. I'm crying for the ones that need to come back. Because some folks don't want this. There's some folks that do, but is anybody praying for? Okay. Did anybody stop mid-celebration and go into consecration? Because that's what he does. He's in celebration. He says, wait, could you do this for us? Could you bring back I got to move. I got to move. Is this making sense to anybody? I'm trying to. The tears of promissory. Watch this. Sowers may sob. Nevertheless, they shall reap. Say, I may sob, but I shall reap. I'm going to change it. I will sob because it's going to be something that gets you. It's going to be something that gets you. It's going to be something that happens to you that's going to make you cry. It's going to keep you up late at night. Cry, carry on, and make sure that while you're sobbing, you're sowing. When the tears come, till the ground. They shall reap. This is the transportive element. What if I told you? Tears of the virtuous, ready to ground for release. I say tears of the virtuous. You got to have some virtue in you to release these types of tears, these promissory tears, these peculiar tears, these powerful tears, these holy tears, these tears of righteousness, this righteous anguish, is righteous anguish that has him so upset about himself being restored, praying for those who need to be restored. Because you're in one place or the other. You're in the seat of the restored or in the seat of the folks who need to be restored. You're in one, I know I'm talking to you. Because you're in one seat or the other. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Somebody say either. That was for the morning class. What if I told you the tears of the virtuous ready to ground for release? Can I say this real quick? This time. Somebody say this time. Look at somebody else, say this time. Don't spill your tears. Oh, I like when y'all get to looking at me crazy, because then I know you're thinking. Somebody say this time. Don't spill your tears. Let them pour. See, there's a difference. See, spill indicates an accident. But pour means purpose. When you pour, you ain't never poured something, come on now. When you was trying to get lit, you wasn't pouring. Nope. You was intentional. It's okay. You was intentional. No. I want a triple shot. If you ordering a triple shot, you didn't come to play. But when you spill, there's an accident. If they just fall, are they purposeful? That's why we got to stop calling, watch this. I need for us to get one piece of vocabulary out of our vernacular. We are not entering the fall season. I know you see leaves falling. You see in 2 weeks from now, they will call that time, though. I don't call it fall. I'm not in a season of. And now unto him who is able to keep you from, I'm not in a fall. We are not entering the fall feast. We are entering the autumn feast. We are entering the season of the former rain. Say, I'm entering the season of the former rain. And see, you ought to get excited. You ought to get excited because you know the rainy season precedes the cold season. But after the cold season, there's another rain. Somebody say there's another rainy season. Say that's the latter rain. But what good is the latter rain if the former rain didn't hydrate the seed in the ground? Okay, let me just come back. All right, I don't know if I'm doing this in the right. Let me speed through this because I don't know if I got y'all with me. This time. Somebody say this time. Don't spill your tears. Let them pour. Don't let them fall. Let them, because watch this, when something falls, you're prone to try and pick it back. Nah, I need to release this one. Okay. Let's keep going. Look at somebody say, weep, but don't wither. Weep, but don't wither. Oh, get this, we can cry and carry on at the same time. I'm not going to tell you to stop crying. I'm going to just tell you to carry on while you're crying. Go ahead. Cry. Look at somebody and say, go ahead. Cry. Go ahead and cry. Just don't forget to carry on. I need somebody to believe with me. We're about to get sheaves out of the sorrow. I would that the church lost it. We ought to lose our. We ought to lost our. I'm not just telling you some stuff. I'm prophesying to you from precept. We're about to get sheaves out of the sorrow. All the crying we've been doing, I am declaring. I said, all the crying, Shante, all the crying we've been doing, we're about to get sheaves out of the sorrow. New Heights, all the crying we've been doing, all the folks that's done left about, come on now. The sons and daughters we're trying to bring back into the fold, all the crying you've been doing. Can I prophesy to Pastor Polk? I said, all the crying you've been doing about your children, you're about to bring sheaves. You got to believe it. I said, you say, I'm about to bring sheaves out of my sorrow. Because while I was sobbing, I was sowing. We don't have to weep empty-handed. We have. Watch this. More weeping, more seeds. who weep. I'm talking about the peculiar. I'm talking about the chosen ones. We don't weep without seed. Those who weep aren't seedless. Don't confuse sorrowfulness with being seedless. And see, when we're so focused on the sorrow, that's why we haven't been focusing on the seed. It's not that you couldn't be fruitful. It's that you were clutching your seeds too tightly out of frustration because you were just trying to bear with the pain that you was in. And you were asking God, oh, why can't anything grow in this season? He's like, I'm going to need you to release the seed in your hand. I'm going to need you to release the seed. See, you've been so captivated by what you've lost that you've not focused on what you have. And you've been back and forth about this thing. But this time when you come forward, I need you to sob, but sow. Say, I'm going to sob. But this time, I'm going to sow. I'm going to sow. Can I get a couple more minutes? See, some folks will get worn out by now. But then we'll quote the scripture. Don't get weary in well doing. You know what the end of that thing says? You will reap if you weep, don't wither. Because when that which is supposed to blossom starts to wither, there's an indication of death. Say, weep, don't wither. Say, cry, but carry on. Don't miss this. Don't miss this. Seed doesn't resemble its fruit. I would if somebody was losing their mind right now. I say seed. Anybody ever cut an apple open and you seen them little seeds? You cut a pear open and you seen the little seeds. You cut a grapefruit, orange. Anybody ever cut? I ain't talking about this seedless fruit. I'm talking about real fruit. Somebody say no GMO. Genuine, real, authentic, God-given fruit. When you cut the fruit open, you're going to find it would be difficult for you, unstudied, to go through seed and know what fruit was going to come out of it. It would be, I said unstudied. If you didn't know what an apple seed looked like, you would see an apple seed and not realize that you're holding fruit in your hand. You're how can this come from this? Despise not the day. Or when you despise small beginnings, you despise seed. Woo! You must hate fruit if you despise the day of small beginnings, because seed don't look like, it doesn't resemble the fruit. What if I told you situations were seeds? Can I give it to you raw? These light afflictions. Can I go text? I say these light afflictions are nothing compared to the glory. Say these light afflictions, their seed. Seed doesn't resemble its fruit, but fruit, real fruit, always possesses its seed. Say, I'm the first fruit. So since I am the first fruit, I'm talking Bible stuff now. Since I am the first fruit, that means I have seed. The problem is, I forgot that I was the first fruit because I've been focusing on what I lost. Because you were trying to, I know some of y'all was asking me, well, where did I get the seed from? Can I give you a Bible? He gives seed. Some of us don't have seed because we ain't no. Well, somebody say, I'm the first fruit. This ain't arrogance. This is covenant. Say, I have seed. I've been sobbing. I might as well sow. I might as well. You better get your Ric Flair walk. So just. Woo! You better. Give me 2 claps in a Ric Flair. Woo! You look at your neighbor and say, you better sow. Situations can be seed. For the believer, the situations of sorrow won't resemble the season of joy. That's why you don't look like the tears are about to yield forward traction. Usually, water makes things slippery. Usually, oil makes things slippery. Usually, oil and water don't mix. And they still don't. They're just in layers. Say they're in layers. Say the oil helps the water get to the ground. Put some weight on it, don't it? Helps it not evaporate. Don't you spill another tear. You better let them pour. I feel like hollering. From bearing sorrow, while bearing seed. From bearing sorrow while bearing seed in due season. From bearing sorrow while bearing seed. Somebody say, in due season, I'll be bringing sheaves. Now, normally, I would tell you God was going to do it in his time. Here's why you ought to lose your mind. You know when his time. Somebody say it's autumn. And I'm looking at the Negev and I see that it's drought. I'm looking at the south. Oh God. Say I'm looking southward. I know normally when you hear this, they say turn northward. I'm going to tell you something radical today. I'm going to tell you look southward. I know this is real weird, but I need you to look southward. Not back, but southward. There's a difference between looking southward and looking backward. Somebody say look southward. Why would the text point us to a place that is dry after summer? Because rainy season is here. Say the rain's coming. And as the rain is coming, you see what was once dry and parched, now refill. Now be restored. The text says restore us like the streams in the south. Restore us, I don't keep y'all too long. Restore us like the streams in the south. I want you to receive this. I'm out your way. I want you to receive this. Get ready to glean. I need you to get on your heart. I need. Look at somebody, say, get ready to glean. Going through is a part of life. Say, we're going to go through. But this time, get ready to glean. In this season, we're going to have to learn how to glean anyway. Because watch this, quiet as it's kept, harvest is a grind. Cultivation is a grind. Watch this. Day after day, can somebody follow me? Day after day, I've got to cultivate the same ground. I got to go back. I'm going back. I ain't going back and forth with you, but I'm going back and forth. Because I'm a groundbreaker. And sometimes going back and forth, the toil of it, the toil of the farmer, the sweat of his brow. Sometimes the tears of last season didn't render anything. But this time, I've been spilling my tears, but I'm not spilling another tear. I already know more coming. I don't need to prophesy to you for that, but I can prepare you. Say, when the tears come, till the ground. Say, go ahead and cry. Say, sob. And so anyway. Gleaning. I'm prophesying to you. You're about to get gleaning out of your grief. You're about to get fruit out of your frustration. You're about to get harvest out of your hardship. Look at somebody, say, get ready to glean. Get ready to glean. Say, it's been a grind. Come on now. I'm for real. I'm for real. Finna release y'all. I say, somebody say, it's been a grind. It's been grievous. Say, but this season, I'm ready to glean. Look at somebody, say, get ready to glean. If you're sitting next to somebody that you love, say, get ready to glean. If you've cried some promissory tears, say, get ready to. If you cried some peculiar tears, get ready to. If you've been crying some tears, but there was power, but there was oil, but you had word in your life, you had anointing in your life, this time, get ready to glean. Give God praise. All this loss I've had to suffer through, all this pain I've had to deal with, and this whole time, God had a word to optimize my tears. I'm not spilling another, don't you spill another tear. Get your bearing and start breaking ground. When the tears come, that's my one. Say, when the tears come, till the ground. When the tears come, till the ground, release the seed. Give God another hand clap of praise.